So the next part, let me bring in that little notepad that I have, is I'm going to do this right here. We're about to start the edit. This is step number 3 with it. So just to get things in order here, we're doing this part right now with it. So I'm going to talk to you about the edits in here as well. And again, take notes when we start to do this on pencil and paper, however you want to do this thing with it. I'm gonna post some shortcut keys on here that will help you a lot with it. So bear with me with it. So we're about to get into the edits of the videos right now with it. So the first thing I would like to do is I shot in all these. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. These 7 footage that I've shot, all done in iPhone 13, right? So I'm gonna actually all take them into. I basically drop them over. There's no editing. They're all raw footage MOV files with it. So as you can see, I'm gonna grab the first one. If you watch how I do this, there's a reason why I do this. I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna drag it to the to the time frame over here with it, right? Hold on. And you saw that I dropped that one footage over there with it. That's how simple it is with it. I intentionally did that, and you could see how this next footage comes in with it. And this is the main timeline with it. So what are you looking at right now? Let me explain. This top part right here is the video. This bottom part right here is the audio. You can play it by playing it on here with it. See the water sound bar. You don't want the sound bar in the red region right here with it. You want it below the red region with it. All right, or else it's going to be distorted with it as well. All right, so I have like footages in here. We're going to fade in, fade out for each of the footages with it. So let's say I have this right now with it. So right now I have this footage right now. I just dropped over there with it. That's the first one. The second footage that I have on here, all right. Now as you can see, this is the main footage that I just did over here with it. You can take this one, you could drag it to the outside. That would actually sit outside of the at the root of it. That's fine with it as well. It doesn't really matter. This is, which was number 7, is our first one with it. If you want to see what the next one looks like with it, you can always come in and drag. Let me do. I meant to do was number 6. So a really good key to do. Let me show you something. Control Z, and it puts that back. Control Z, it puts that footage back with it. I didn't mean to bring that over with it. I didn't want that footage. I wanted the 106 is the first one, right? So the 106 is the first one. I dragged over, and let me play that. This is the one that I really want to start out with. Okay, so that's the first one. And then what I can do is if I want to see what's the next footage, but I don't want to drag it over there. I could drag that one to the 107 on the top. So this one was the 106 that I was putting. But if I want to see the preview, whatever it's coming up next to it, this is the preview window with it. Does that make sense? So this timeline is your main timeline, and this is like a little bin where you can see the next video that's coming up with it as well. And you can still see what very different type of footage that you could see with it as well. All right, anyways, again, I want you to practice this. So let's say I agree to do the 107. I'm going to put the 107 right here next to it at the end of it, right? It copies it over with it. Just move this up here a little bit. You can move that timeline, or what you can also do is come in here and kind of adjust this a little bit here. And you can see, you can scrub this timeline to the right a little bit. Okay, so if I want to, the next one is that was 107. The next number I have is the 109. I'm just doing this in sequence with it. And if I'm happy with this one, that's fine. And that's what that looks like with it. Scrub this one over a little bit to the right. But here, I'm going to take the 108, 118. With it, just butt it up against that with it, and then I'm going to look at the 120. Let's say I don't know what's go up with. The next one is the 127, 122. I'm sorry, 122. And if I don't want to see what that looks like, well, let's come up here and just drop that up here and see what that looks like, and that could play the next preview one with it. Okay.
Xay cái cổng này mà cái vai này đeo lâu lắm mới lên.
So there's footage with it as well. So and then I'm going to take this over to the right side of this. Take that footage, pop that there, go to the end of this next one. I just moved it to the right, 175 to its right with it. Then I'm going to do the last one, the 183, put that to that with it as well. Okay, so if you look at it from the beginning of this thing, take the timeline from the beginning and kind of, you're gonna play it. All the threads just kind of like glued together, all stacking together with it. We're gonna hit the one video to the next video, add some sound to it, add a editing to it, really make it add audio to it as well.
Mùi thúi. Cái này anh thâu anh sẽ bỏ nhạc vô nói chuyện bình thường không sao.
The video is about a little over a minute with all 7 of the footages that's added together with it.
Xay cái cổng này mà cái vai này đeo lâu lắm mới lên.
I wanted you guys to see one thing with another thing. Not that smooth, like snappy. You don't want that. You really want it to fade out, fade in, so they don't feel like they're leaving the scene.
Cái cây này cây túi nước. Không, cái cana nữa. Không. Cái cana. So this is about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I want you to just put that bug in your ear with it. All right. So now we're going to go back in this 2 minutes right now. We're going to actually go in. We're going to connect all the pieces together with it as an editing piece with it. Right. All right. So let me bring back that notepad, and I want underneath the editing shortcut, I'm going to just make some notes here. This is Adobe Premiere editing shortcuts keys. All right, so let me take this one out. I kind of double wrote that. So you're going to use some of these keys like the W, the Q, the K. You know, how you delete stuff with it. Again, all these are for Windows operating system with it. Anytime I have a slash like this, it means it's for a Mac. So Control K for this is, I'm sorry, this one Control is for a PC. If you're on a Mac, it's Command. Anything that's written on a Mac, it's a command. All right. So something like with a plus or a zoom in, zoom out, in point, out point, that type of stuff with it. So these are the common keys that I use to, if you want to pause the video and just copy down on a notepad or whatever it is, these important keystrokes that you're going to use with it as well. All right, just hang loose with it. So the videos is almost, it's over 10 minutes with it, so I'm going to pause. I'm going to end this segment of videos. It's almost 10 minutes and 10 seconds, so 30 seconds, all right? So this concludes this sections right now for the editing. I'm going to have a part 2 for the editing part. What the next step is the edit part right here. I'm going to go in as the third part. I'm going to demonstrate some of these keystroke that we talked about right here with it. So we're still doing the edit part with it. Before we start to edit, I want to focus on this area. What's going on here with it, all right? So this layer, think about all these are layers with it, right? Anything that has a lock that's unlocked like this. Let's start with that column. This is V1. This is your main video. It's separate with your audio is separated from it. And you don't have to see, like I said, there are multiple tracks that you can, each one of these is a different track with it. The I means that you could hide it. The A is audio 1. As you can see, I don't have 2 layers here with it. We can mute it as M, or we could record a voice over with a microphone. You could talk over this as well. So again, you could solo a track and you can mute other stuff that's coming in. We don't have two tracks here. One's the video and the other one is the audio. Again, you can add multiple tracks to this as well with it. You're not limited to what's options here with it. So that's what's going on with this right here with it. Let me expand this out a little bit more so we have a little bit more room with it. Let me bring this over like this so you can see there's a part in here I want to show you that that we're going to do is I want to take this needle all the way to the back. You can drag it however you want to do this, or you can click back and it will take it to rewind this to the beginning by clicking this. Go to the frame 1. You can click on that way actually take you back to frame 1 with it as well, right? So there's a lot of these editing tools here that you can also use as well with it, right? So let me do this right here. There's a part in here that had a few people in there where you could see. I want to show you how to edit that. I'm trying to purposely do this so I can remember where. I think it's this part right here. I'm going to take this part. You can find this footage. I don't know what number this is. There's some people that's coming in here. I think this is where there's some people that's coming in here. Right there. You see, and you can see there are 2 people at the end of that. Okay, so and I want let's back up where we want no people to show up in here. Right there. Okay, so to cut this right here, to cut it, remember now what keystroke do we use? What keystroke do we use? Did you write that down? I'm going to put first of all I need to put a cut clip on there. On this one it's just like Control K, K for cut. I know it's not phonetically, it's all phonetically sounded. I don't know, ask me why I didn't make this. So Control K. That will actually cut it right there, as you can see with it, right? And I'm going to take the needle. You can see there's a line right here, and then I'm going to take it where the person comes in. Looks like the person's still in there until the end of that, right about right here, right? So basically, I want this entire clip to be removed. This part right here from this part to this part. So select it. Make sure you have the video and the audio. Click on one of the layers, and it picks it up both with it. What was that delete one again? What was the delete? You can hit the word delete. That would actually delete it, right? And you have a gap right here right now with it. So we need to actually take both of these things, this whole thing right now that you have right now, and we need to drag it over to connect to the part to it. So I want to drag it over. Don't overlap it with it. So making sure everything the rest of this is also connected to as well. The reason I'm dragging you to this is, look, this is what happens, right? So what I'd like for you to do is make sure, because I drag, it's like a train. You take one of the parts out with it, and what I like to do is I'm going to click on it. I'm going to drag it to the end. If there's any more parts to it, I hold down the shift, but there isn't. So I'm going to connect that part to it as well. So that's the part that I just cut out of it. Okay. So that's what. If there, you can go in here. I want you to show you. So that's one part that's being edited out of this whole thing. Go back here. Drag back here. So I just want to scrub. As you can see, that transition that I just put in here, play it. Snaps to it. We're going to make a transition in this part. In other words, we have to stitch it up with it. Just practice on cutting a couple of edit stuff on here with it. So, like right there, okay? So I had some people coming in. Okay, you can see some people at the end down there with it, and you can see down here, you can see the audio sound with it, or you can see some. So let's do this. I show you how to cut from let's say that part right there, and what was that again? Control K. You put a line right there with it, and let's say you move your part right about here with it, right? And we put another Control K, and that actually takes that part out of it with it. Just click the middle part of it, and if you hit delete, that just takes it out with it. So let's go through here before I move some stuff in here. I saw some people in here as well with it. Okay, so about from right there with it, I'm going to do Control K, cut, and then we're going to do all the way down to about here. Okay, so that it's one, Control K. So click on that clip, hit delete. That's gone. Now we got to move this together with it. But instead of holding this, I'm gonna click on that, hold down my shift, click on that, so that selects it. And then I'm going to drag this over, hold down my shift, selects it. In other words, this is another way of doing it. So I'm showing you how to do this. So shift, click, shift, click. So the first part, I'm going to move that. You notice I'm going to move the whole, everything moves. Move that. Okay, hold on. Deselect this, turn this off by holding down your control, click on it, turn that off. Well, I think I hold down my shift and then I clicked on it, disable it, and then this part I just dragged it over like that. Okay, so this way I want you to practice to see. I didn't want to have any people in my footage with it. You can see I had a little bit of so you can cut this out if you want to. So practice splicing chunks out of this and removing it with it by hitting, so putting a time frame, a splice here, and you can cut it out with it, and then move things together with it. So that's one way how to edit stuff with it as well. All right, so I just want to give you some heads up on some of the stuff that we're doing right now with it. It's approaching 8 minutes. So before we move on to the fourth part, I need for you to take a screenshot of this step number 3, which is the edit. So I need for you to come in here right now and take a screenshot of this right here for me, okay? Of this timeline. Take the whole thing right here with it and paste it into your Word document where for step number 3 is the edit part. I need to see this timeline right here. Something like a timeline, like you cut out all the people and all that stuff with it as well. Do that for me, would you please?